If you're over the age of 60 and you've begun to notice your world looking subtly less sharp, I want to assure you of something critical. You are not imagining things. This isn't just a vague feeling of getting older. A concrete change is taking place within your eyes. Think back over the last few months. Have you found yourself holding the newspaper further away than you used to? Do you struggle to clearly decipher the tiny print on your prescription bottles? Is navigating familiar roads at night now causing you genuine anxiety? How often have you had to ask a family member, "Could you read that aloud for me?" These seemingly minor inconveniences are frequently the very first whispers of a developing issue. But as time progresses, these small adjustments inevitably escalate into significant life limitations. You might slowly withdraw from driving entirely. You might put down your beloved books for good. You may simply stop engaging in the cherished hobbies that once gave you joy. And perhaps most difficult of all, you can begin to feel a growing reliance on others for even the most basic daily tasks: grocery shopping, preparing meals, or simply maneuvering safely through your own home. I have listened to countless patients in my practice who share the same profound sentiment. They tell me, "Doctor, this isn't just about my eyes. I feel like the reins of my entire life are slipping away." If that feeling resonates deeply with you, you must understand this. You are not alone in this struggle. And let me be absolutely clear. A complete loss of sight is not your only possible outcome. For individuals living with elevated eye pressure or diagnosed glaucoma, the deterioration of vision can feel like an unending slow-motion countdown. Does every appointment with your eye specialist fill you with dread? Does every moment of visual blur trigger the same paralyzing question, is the damage progressing? Will I be completely sightless soon? I have personally witnessed this profound anxiety for more than 3 decades in clinical practice. While prescription medical treatments remain the absolute bedrock of care, I can confirm that there are powerful natural strategies supported by genuine evidence that can help support your eyes, often starting with simple ingredients in your own kitchen. I am not about to discuss fantastical miracle cures. I am going to share scientifically backed real-world remedies that are designed to help ease the internal pressure within the eyes and enhance healthy blood flow directly to the critical optic nerve. That is precisely what we will investigate together today. We will focus on 5 natural options that are consistently safe, gentle, and particularly beneficial for anyone managing glaucoma or high eye pressure. On this channel, our core focus is always on discovering natural proven ways to safeguard your health and sustain your independence well into your 60s and beyond. If preserving your autonomy and well-being matters to you, I encourage you to consider subscribing. It costs you nothing. Now let's begin our exploration with the very first remedy. Let me pose a specific question to you. By the time evening arrives, do your eyes frequently feel heavy, as if an internal pressure is slowly accumulating behind them, almost like a dull, steady weight is pressing outward? This sensation is more than mere fatigue. For a great number of individuals over 60, especially those with glaucoma or known high eye pressure, this is a form of daily persistent discomfort. It's the kind of feeling that creeps in subtly and then steadfastly refuses to leave. You might instinctively rub your eyes, close them for a few brief moments, or perhaps even recline, but the feeling of tension doesn't genuinely dissipate. That very persistent, deep-seated eye pressure is what fennel tea has the capacity to help alleviate. Fennel is that small, pale seed you likely recognize as a culinary ingredient. It possesses a subtle, pleasant, licorice-like taste. However, when prepared as a soothing, warm tea, it transforms into something considerably more therapeutic, a potent yet gentle natural anti-inflammatory agent for your visual system. When pressure inside the eye becomes elevated, a significant part of the issue stems from the internal fluid failing to drain efficiently. This resultant fluid backup creates tension. Over a period of time, this constant pressure begins to compress the optic nerve, the vital cable that transmits all visual data from your eye to your brain. Phenyl naturally contains powerful compounds, such as anethol and quercetin, which have been demonstrated in studies to effectively reduce inflammation and promote improved fluid movement within bodily tissues. Conceptually, you can think of it as helping to release the internal tightness around your eyes and supporting superior fluid circulation, all without the need for artificial chemicals or concerning side effects. And the most compelling aspect: it is incredibly simple to integrate into your life. I recall a patient, Marjorie, a bright 68-year-old who sought my advice after years of grappling with persistent eye pressure. Although she was diligently using all of her prescribed medicated drops, she still described a relentless underlying ache behind her eyes, particularly after any activity like reading or watching television. We reviewed her daily habits, her stress levels, and various small, manageable additions she could make to enhance her well-being. That is when we introduced a single warm cup of fennel tea into her evening ritual. The effect wasn't immediate, but within just 2 weeks, she returned to my office and shared, "Doctor, my eyes genuinely feel more relaxed. I honestly hadn't realized how perpetually tense they were until the tension was actually gone." But this small, uncomplicated addition, a simple calming cup of tea, became a cherished part of her evening, yielding a tangible improvement in her daily physical comfort. Please understand that I am not claiming fennel tea will replace or cure your glaucoma treatment. However, if you are actively seeking a safe, benign addition to your daily routine, something that directly supports your eyes without introducing risk, this is one of the most excellent places to begin your journey. So how exactly do you prepare and consume it? The process is entirely straightforward. You can easily purchase fennel seeds at any well-stocked grocery store or natural market. Use approximately 1 teaspoon of lightly crushed seeds for every cup of hot water. Allow the mixture to steep fully for about 10 minutes, then strain the liquid and consume it while it's still warm. Once daily is perfectly sufficient, and the optimal time is usually in the evening when your eyes have borne the most strain. Consume it plain, no sugar, no honey, no milk, just the pure tea. Allow your body to absorb the natural, gentle calm. It is a small, new ritual, but I have learned that often the smallest actions executed consistently are the source of the most significant long-term difference. In our next segment, we will shift our focus to something more concentrated, a berry extract originating from Europe that has been meticulously studied for decades for its specific role in supporting ocular health. But for the moment, why not consider preparing yourself a cup of fennel tea? Your eyes will probably offer their gratitude. If fennel tea represents a warm, gentle introduction to natural support, then bilberry extract is the logical next step, a more concentrated and targeted intervention. You may not be immediately familiar with bilberries. They bear a close resemblance to the common blueberry, but they are generally darker in color, smaller in size, and predominantly found growing wild across Europe. So why is this particular focus so vital for individuals dealing with glaucoma or consistently high eye pressure? Allow me to detail the connection. The architecture of the eye is densely packed with tiny, fine blood vessels, delicate, yet absolutely indispensable for function. When internal pressure begins to increase, it can dangerously compromise circulation in these minute vessels, particularly in the critical area immediately surrounding the optic nerve. That is the exact point where bilberry becomes a powerful ally. Bilberries are exceptionally rich in anthocyanins, a specific class of antioxidant that has been clinically demonstrated to strengthen the delicate capillary walls, effectively reduce damaging oxidative stress, and significantly improve blood circulation within the retina. Stated simply, it functions to help the smallest blood vessels in your eyes remain open and robust, thereby ensuring essential nutrients and oxygen can flow directly to where they are most urgently needed. And the result of superior circulation is a reduction in the potential for long-term damage to the optic nerve. A few years ago, I treated a patient named Ken, a 71-year-old man who had spent most of his professional life as a truck driver. He expressed that his night vision was declining steadily, oncoming headlights appeared hazy, and shadows on the road were increasingly difficult to interpret. His overall eye pressure was not at a dangerously high level, but his primary doctor had advised him to monitor it closely. We incorporated a bilberry extract into his daily regimen, a single small capsule taken each morning. Within only a few weeks, he told me, "Doctor, I'm not claiming I see like I did when I was 40, but I no longer feel such intense anxiety when I'm driving at dusk." That is precisely the objective we pursue: minor, tangible victories that accumulate. An increase in confidence, a return of control. You can reliably source bilberry extract at most pharmacies or specialized health food stores. You should seek a supplement that provides a daily intake of approximately 80 to 100 milligrams of anthocyanins. This is the specific compound that confers the most benefit. I typically recommend taking it in the morning alongside food, as its effects can support circulatory health throughout the day. One crucial precaution: if you are currently taking any blood-thinning medication, you must consult your primary physician before introducing bilberry. It is a natural substance, yes, but it still exerts an influence on circulation. The key message here is straightforward. If your goal is to reinforce the fragile blood vessels within your eyes, especially if you are facing pressure-related deterioration, bilberry extract represents one of the most effective natural tools currently at our disposal. In the upcoming section, we will delve into a remedy that is ancient but exceptionally potent, a specific herbal leaf known to enhance blood flow, not just to the eyes, but remarkably to the brain as well. When the topic of eyesight arises, our attention is almost always fixated solely on the eyes themselves. But here is a fundamental piece of information that most people overlook. Your visual experience is just as reliant on the health and function of your brain. Consider this for a moment. Your eyes do not, in fact, see. Their function is to capture light and transmit that signal along the optic nerve, after which your brain takes over and constructs the final image. If the blood supply to the visual processing centers in the brain or to the optic nerve itself is inadequate, your eyesight will inevitably suffer the consequences. And that precise mechanism is where ginkgo biloba delivers its therapeutic support. Ginkgo represents one of the oldest extant tree species on the planet. Its leaves have been utilized in traditional medical systems for thousands of years. In contemporary research, it is studied for one predominant effect: its capacity to boost blood circulation, particularly to the brain and the eyes. For those navigating glaucoma or high eye pressure, this function is of paramount importance. When internal pressure accumulates within the eyeball, the optic nerve, your vision's critical lifeline, begins to experience a reduction in blood flow. Over time, this results in nerve cell death and irreversible vision loss. Ginkgo does not directly lower the pressure within your eyes. However, its value lies in its ability to support superior blood flow through the myant vessels that supply the optic nerve and the brain, helping to keep these essential pathways nourished, even when the ambient pressure is elevated. Furthermore, it possesses significant antioxidant capabilities that provide direct protection to nerve cells against damage. This dual action is why investigators have been keenly examining its potential role in supporting glaucoma treatment, memory issues, and even the early phases of cognitive decline. One small but compelling study indicated that patients diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma who consumed ginkgo extract experienced improved visual field performance, suggesting they could see with greater clarity in their peripheral vision, which is typically the first area compromised by glaucoma. Now let's turn this knowledge into practical application. You can purchase ginkgo biloba in capsule form at nearly every pharmacy or supplement retailer. You must specifically seek a standardized extract often clearly labeled as EGB 761 or a similar designation at a dosage of 120 milligrams per day. This is usually administered as 2 separate 60 milligrams doses, one in the morning and one in the evening. It is best consumed with food, especially if you have a sensitive stomach. And as a recurring safeguard, if you take blood thinners, you absolutely must discuss this with your physician first. Ginkgo can interact with these medications due to its effects on enhancing blood flow. I recently treated a patient, Carla, 74 years of age. She was not only managing early-stage glaucoma, but was also noting increasing forgetfulness, a slowing of her thought process, and a persistent feeling of mental fogginess. Her son had begun reading her text messages aloud because she could no longer make out the fine print on her phone screen. We integrated ginkgo alongside her existing treatment plan. Within several weeks, she reported that the sensation of tightness behind her eyes was lessened, and she felt noticeably more mentally alert throughout the day. Once again, the result was not a miraculous change, but a clear, measurable improvement. That is the true essence of natural support, not an overnight transformation, but slow, stable, continuous progress. For those who feel the strain on both their vision and their cognitive clarity, ginkgo biloba offers a distinct advantage, a means to support both vital systems concurrently. Coming up next, we will explore something you might never have considered: a distinctive oil that supports eye health through the specific power of an omega-6 fatty acid. It is particularly valuable for aging eyes and retinas that are showing signs of exhaustion. But for now, take a moment to pause. You have already absorbed knowledge about 3 safe, gentle ways to support your precious eyes, and by extension, your independence. That is a solid foundation upon which to build. There is a vital part of the eye that we often neglect to discuss when considering glaucoma and the aging process: the retina. This is the exquisitely delicate, light-sensitive layer positioned at the rear of your eye, where the conversion of light into vision actually occurs. When these tiny specialized cells begin to break down a process often triggered by underlying inflammation, you slowly start to lose visual clarity. That is precisely where black currant oil steps in. Most people are familiar with the benefits of omega-3 fatty acids, but far fewer are aware of a rarer omega-6 component called GLA, or gamma-linolenic acid. Black currant oil is one of nature's richest sources of this GLA, and this particular fatty acid is extraordinarily beneficial for the eyes. Why? Because inflammation is a quiet saboteur that progressively damages the retina even when your internal eye pressure appears stable. GLA works to calm this systemic inflammation, offering protection to the retinal cells and significantly improving the health of the microscopic blood vessels situated behind the eye. In common accessible language, it helps your eyes feel less irritated, less dry, and better nourished from within. One clinical study even observed that participants who routinely took black currant extract were able to maintain better peripheral vision over time, an area of sight that is tragically often lost, first in glaucoma. This finding is monumental, as once sections of your visual field are gone, they cannot be recovered. I recall a patient, Joe, 76 years old. He had been managing his glaucoma for many years, and his eye pressure was well controlled. Yet he consistently reported that his eyes felt perpetually tired, and his vision often looked washed out. We introduced black currant oil into his daily regimen. After a period of 3 weeks, he noted, "My eyes simply feel more comfortable. I can watch television for longer stretches without feeling the urge to rub them." Again, not a miraculous fix, but a significant enough improvement to enhance his daily life and make his evenings less of a strain. If you are considering trying it, here is what you need to know. Black currant oil is available in soft gel capsules. You should look for a product that provides approximately 100 to 150 milligrams of GLA daily, typically equivalent to 2 capsules taken alongside your meals. It is a very gentle supplement, seldom causing stomach upset, and it requires no mixing or preparation whatsoever. This makes it an ideal option for older adults who prioritize a supplement that is simple, yet demonstrably effective. It is also an excellent alternative for those who find standard fish oil difficult to tolerate. No unpleasant aftertaste, no burping, no fishy smell, just quiet, consistent support for the delicate structures at the back of your eyes. As always, if you are using blood thinners, please hold a discussion with your doctor first. GLA assists with circulation, and it is imperative to exercise caution. The primary objective here is not to replace your existing treatment, but to provide support for the parts of the eye where medication often cannot fully reach, because pressure is fundamentally only a fraction of the full story. Nourishing the retina and the optic nerve is equally critical, and black currant oil accomplishes precisely that, gently from the inside out. By this point in our conversation, you have likely heard about the numerous health virtues of turmeric. However, what most individuals fail to fully grasp is just how powerful it can become for your eyes, particularly if you are living with a diagnosis of glaucoma or persistent high eye pressure. Let us revisit the concept of inflammation. When it comes to the pathology of glaucoma, while pressure is the obvious antagonist, it is only a partial explanation. The most irreversible damage frequently occurs when that pressure leads to a state of chronic inflammation concentrated specifically around the optic nerve, the cable responsible for carrying all visual data to your brain. This inflammation acts as a slow poison, gradually killing off delicate nerve fibers, which results in a little by little reduction in your vision. And once those essential fibers are lost, they are gone permanently. This devastating sequence is precisely why turmeric must earn a prominent place in your daily routine. Turmeric contains curcumin, a compound that boasts globally recognized potent anti-inflammatory capabilities. It has been the focus of studies spanning everything from joint disease to brain health, and it is now demonstrating great promise in the field of eye health, specifically in its potential to protect the optic nerve. Several rigorous laboratory studies have suggested that curcumin may assist in reducing inflammation within retinal cells and the delicate tissues of the optic nerve. In a simplified context, it helps to cool the internal fire before it can burn out your precious vision. Now understand this point clearly. Turmeric is not a pressure-lowering agent. It is absolutely not intended to serve as a substitute for your prescribed eye drops or other prescription medications. However, its value lies in its ability to contribute to a less hostile internal environment within your eyes, which over the long run translates into less progressive damage. And one of the simplest, most approachable ways to consume turmeric is in the form of turmeric water. Here is the exact method I typically advise for my patients. Use about 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder in a standard cup of warm water. Stir the mixture thoroughly. You can drink this once daily, ideally in the morning or following your lunch. If you can manage it, add a tiny pinch of black pepper. This small addition dramatically increases your body's ability to absorb the beneficial curcumin. Some people enjoy adding a slice of lemon or a bit of ginger, which is acceptable, but the core formula remains simple: warm water plus turmeric plus black pepper. It won't win any awards for flavor, but the long-term benefits are profoundly worthwhile. I had one patient, a woman in her early 70s, who incorporated turmeric water into her established routine. Within a few short weeks, she noticed a reduction in the tension behind her eyes during the evening hours and reported sleeping better as a result. A small shift, but profoundly meaningful. A quick word of caution: as with the other circulation-supporting remedies, turmeric slightly thins the blood. Therefore, if you are currently taking any prescribed blood thinners, you must consult your physician before you begin taking it. Also, there is no benefit to overdoing it. More is not better. Stick to small, consistent daily amounts and allow sufficient time for the effects to accumulate. The most profound healing invariably stems from consistency, not intensity. Turmeric water will not reverse glaucoma, but it can play a vital role in protecting the cells that matter the absolute most: your optic nerve, your retinal tissues, and the fragile biological structures that make vision a reality. For something so simple, so safe, and so readily available, that is an enormously powerful tool to have firmly on your side. Now that you have learned about these 5 powerful natural remedies, the practical question is, how do you actually use them without turning your week into a complicated, stressful science experiment? The excellent news is that there is absolutely no requirement to take every single one of them every single day. In fact, my strongest recommendation is to intentionally stagger them, focus on one simple intervention at a time, and allow your body a chance to gently acclimate. For instance, you could choose to start your week with a warm, comforting cup of fennel tea in the evening. It's a wonderful, gentle way to signal relaxation to your eyes after a long day of visual strain. The next day, take a single bilberry supplement alongside your breakfast. That's all that's required. Midweek sip on your turmeric water in the morning. Though the taste might be challenging, you are cooling internal inflammation from the core. On another day, introduce black currant oil, 2 capsules taken with your lunch. No mixing, no preparation. Just swallow, and you are done. And perhaps once or twice a week, include ginkgo, splitting the dosage between morning and evening, provided your doctor has confirmed it is safe for you to do so. You do not need to implement every remedy simultaneously. Even a rotation of just 2 or 3 of these supports across your week can provide a significant gentle boost to your eye health. And please do not underestimate the power of rest. Dedicate 1 full day a week with no supplements at all. Instead, simply sit down, close your eyes, and place a warm compress over them for a solid 10 minutes. Allow your eyes to deeply relax. Let your nervous system catch its breath. This is not a rigid, unbending schedule. There is no such thing as a perfect order. However, by selecting 1 small, deliberate action per day, you are consistently providing your eyes with the foundational support they desperately need, without causing yourself mental overwhelm. Feel free to print this information out, if that helps you write a simple schedule on your refrigerator, or just begin with whichever remedy feels the simplest to integrate. Because when you care for your eyes with this level of consistency, you are not simply trying to protect your vision. You are fundamentally preserving your freedom, your confidence, and your entire way of life. And that noble goal is absolutely worth showing up for. If you have remained with me through this entire consultation, I wish to share a very simple yet deeply felt sentiment. Thank you. Your presence here means a great deal to me because I am fully aware of the sheer volume of misinformation and noise in the digital world. The fact that you chose to invest this time in actively focusing on your future health, your eyes, and your independence tells me something immensely important about you. It shows me that you are not giving up. You are not accepting a default path of simply getting older. You are consistently showing up for yourself, for the autonomy you deserve, and for the people who love you. And that fundamentally is the core purpose of this channel from its very beginning. Because vision is so much more than the mechanical act of seeing. It is your capacity to instantly recognize the genuine smile of your grandchild, to immerse yourself in the pages of your most treasured book, to confidently navigate your kitchen without the slightest fear, and to step outside and truly witness the vibrant colors of the trees. It is the cornerstone of your dignity, your connections, your confidence, and your freedom. And even if you are currently facing significant challenges, be it high eye pressure, early glaucoma, or frustrating blurry vision, you are not powerless. There are tangible, proactive steps you can take, natural, gentle, and supported by legitimate science, all designed to help your body protect what is most essential. Small daily actions: a simple cup of tea, a capsule taken in the morning, a few quiet minutes with your eyes deliberately closed, and slowly, steadily, those actions will solidify into a protective foundation, one that helps you remain steady, visually clear, and independent. If this video has provided you with value in any way, if it has offered you new practical ideas, or simply a renewed sense of hope, I would be grateful if you would consider performing 3 quick actions. Please like this video so that the algorithm allows more people who desperately need this support to find it. Share it with a friend or family member who might also benefit from this kind of help. And finally, comment below and let me know, which of these 5 natural remedies are you most intrigued to start trying first? And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. It is free, and it ensures you stay connected to simple, science-backed natural strategies for aging well, free from the typical noise or exaggerated hype. You are absolutely not walking this path alone. And as long as I am here, I will continue to share every piece of practical, tested knowledge I have accumulated over my 30+ years of practice to empower you to remain strong, mentally sharp, and fully in control of your health decisions. Take excellent care of your eyes. They are not merely the mechanism through which you view the world. They are the window through which the world sees the very best version of you. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our next consultation.